Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel and this is Dearly Departed episode 3 and it is your game week 1 preview. What is Dearly Departed if you're not up with the programme? This is a show for the fans of the clubs, the teams that were just too damn clever to stay on my channel. The 6 teams that have been promoted since I have been doing the Championship channel. Well, we made a lot of friends, so we're going to keep covering. Well, we would cover all 6 of them, but Norwich managed to get themselves relegated last season. So we're covering 5 teams in the Premier League. Don't worry, I've served my time with these teams. I'm not jumping ship and there will be as much Championship content as ever, but we will still be looking at promoted 2 seasons ago, Sheffield United and Aston Villa, and promoted last season, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. And it is their game week number 1, their first foray into Premier League football, or is it? Because Aston Villa, well, they are not playing this weekend. They were due to play Manchester City, but Manchester City get a rest like they need it in the first week. So Aston Villa will be off and running pretty soon. Should be worth mentioning, and I've covered this on the transfer updates video, that they have invested, if transfer marks figures are correct, £41 million, 42 even, exactly 42 in fact, in Matt Cash and Ollie Watkins, 2 high-performing players in the Championship. And Mr. Jack Grealish is still there at the club, the guy that makes everything tick there at Villa. They will be in a dearly departed derby very, very soon on the 21st of September. So we'll have a look at that as and when it happens. And also, I think it might be on the telly in the League Cup against Burton. Am I right? I think I'm right. That one's coming up as well. So, nothing to preview for Aston Villa, but just keep your eye on the transfer market there. Fulham start with one of many London derbies for them. Now an extra London team back in the Premier League. They face Arsenal, and the bookies don't like them very much to win this one. 5-1 for Scott Parker's Fulham to start with a victory. In terms of what Parker will do with his team, well, Knockout, that was already confirmed before the end of last season. Harrison Reed has been retained. Kenny Tete, who I do not know a lot about, other than what it says there. He's a right back, age 24. Parker struggled with right backs last season. Tried Adoy, Sessegnon. In fact, Sessegnon's gone out on loan to Bristol City, hasn't he? So I don't know whether Tete gets a debut. Same with Mario Lemina there. Apparently they're paying a loan fee of nigh on £2 million to have Lemina in their squad. Anthony Robinson, that's interesting. Does he get in over Joe Bryan? I don't want to say this guy's surname. Alphonse Areola from PSG on loan. Ruddock, has he earned his place? So there may be some possible debutants there, particularly Lemina and Tete, joining up with the main protagonists last season, Mitro and Kearney. We would expect to definitely be in there. Be interested now to see Cavaliero and Knockout. They've spent big money. Will they do their bit in the team there? Reeve and Hector. Will there be a new keeper behind? How will the midfield look with Reed and Lemina and Kearney and Onoma and all those names to fit in? Will someone like Neeskens Cabana, that ended last season well, you can see him there, get a chance? Be very, very interesting to see what type of team Scott Parker plays against Arsenal. I believe that is I think I'm right, that's the league, the Charity Shield team that Arsenal played there. So, obviously, the Charity Shield is a friendly, but it gives us some ideas what's going to be happening there. We know all the big names for Arsenal. We know this is going to be a very, very tricky start for Parker and Fulham. Arsenal under Arteta now going to be aiming definitely towards that top 6, and they'll have their fingers crossed for that top 4 that they used to get every year under Arsene Wenger. This is not about Arsenal. This is about our dearly departed. So Fulham at best last year were very controlled, very patient, played through the thirds, distributed work evenly through their team, and had various star players. At their worst, they were slow and ponderous and relied lots on Mitrovic. So let's hope for the latter. It's going to be a difficult start. I think if they don't lose this one, Fulham will be happy. Let me know if you're a Fulham fan what you think in the comments. Nice easy start for Leeds. Away at runaway champions Liverpool last season. And the first thing we need to kind of figure out is, can Liverpool possibly be as good as they've been the past 2 seasons? They've got I think they've got 99 points the past 2 seasons. So they're 99 and 90 out of 7. The better end of 200 points over 2 38-game seasons is just insanity. Surely there must be a regression to normality and just being a very good team rather than a freakishly good team for Liverpool. But hey, that is, it is relevant, because if Liverpool do maintain their level, then only really 2 or 3 teams are going to be able to do anything against them this season. Well, I suppose Watford did break that unbeaten run, but that was way, way into the season. There was a lot of context behind that. What is Bielsa going to do? He has bought Rodrigo and, we think, spent nearly 30 million quid there on a 29-year-old. You would think that player would be ready to go ahead of Bamford. We assume Bielsa doesn't divert from 4-1-4-1, so there's one forward position in there. We know Bielsa has the 120 game states for people to learn, but this guy's 29. Surely Rodrigo is ready to go. Costa, that was already done. Koch is an interesting one because they probably would have wanted Ben White, but no doubt he would have cost probably 3 times as much as Koch did. So I would have thought he would go. Meslier's been done now. That's an interesting one. I saw in the last friendly that Krissy played. I never thought he'd play for Leeds again. Very interested in Leeds fans, whether anyone knows anything on who's actually going to be the keeper. Gelhardt, well, that's a project. I would think he's at least 3rd choice down the running order there. Harrison, another year on loan. I'm a big fan of Harrison. So we know with Bielsa what we're roughly expecting, as in, well, Meslier or Krissy. Ailing there, you'll see it right back with Cooper and Koch will be the centre halves, we would think. Left back, is it still Stuart Dallas? I guess he's earned it, has he? Calvin Phillips will be the deep line playmaking midfielder. Klitsch never misses a minute, does he? And then, does Hernandez start in the Premier League, or will they bench him for a more leggy player, particularly away at Anfield? Who knows? Maybe he'll do it the other way around and start with the mercurial, brilliant Hernandez. Then we would expect it to be Harrison and Costa wide and Rodrigo up top. Let me know your thoughts, Leeds fans, but it seems reasonably set in stone there, doesn't it? It's been reasonably set in stone for a lot of those players for 2 seasons now. So that bodes well. What doesn't bode well is Salah, Alexander-Arnold, Mane, Van Dijk, Henderson, Robertson, who just in their positions are just exceptional players. Look, it's a lot of fun. It's Bielsa versus Klopp. That was a friendly game against Blackpool. I think Minamoto in there, that's interesting. Fabinho and Keita, obviously you'd expect Henderson to come in there. And the 2 magnificent fullbacks and the magnificent Van Dijk also to be added to there. It's going to be fun. You Leeds fans won't like me saying this, but there is obviously a parallel to draw, a comparison. I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen, but last season, runaway champions, well, not necessarily runaway champions, but champions Norwich went up with their lovely pattern of play. They didn't have Bielsa in the dugout. They had Daniel Farke. Went to Liverpool away on the first game. Really choked it and were 4-0 down at half-time. So that's the absolute, utter doomsday worst-case scenario. Norwich didn't sign anybody. But, look, we only really expect Rodrigo and Koch to go in. Maybe that's all the upgrade Leeds needed. But is it that bigger upgrade when you consider they had White anyway? last season. So it's the Bielsa factor, isn't it? And having that guy in the dugout, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be interesting. I've watched a ton of Leeds games the past 2 seasons, and basically they played all out attack, didn't they? Every time there was a restart, out they go, centre-half split, Phillips drops in, full-backs miles up the pitch, hugely attacking, hugely open. Will he do the same thing? Will it work? It worked for Atletico Madrid. Not Atletico Madrid, Athletic Bilbao, excuse me. No one clipped that out. So, look, it's going to be very, very interesting. Maybe it's a good thing to get this one out of the way for Leeds. I suspect they will lose, but I think a win for Leeds would be going there, being competitive, having a lot of possession and trusting in the system that got them there, and some evidence that system's going to work, because Norwich trusted in their system and it really didn't work, but they didn't upgrade any positions. And obviously, no offence to Norwich isn't Leeds. It's not the size of club. It doesn't have the expectation, the fan base, etc. And they have yo-yoed and they have had big financial issues, and we're happy to now start this season in the Championship huge favourites. I don't think Leeds is the same thing. And with Bielsa at the stage in his career, as opposed to where Farke is in his career, Bielsa isn't going to accept just going up and making up the numbers and, we'll stabilise and come back up next season. No, they're going to have a go. So I think Leeds fans are just going to want to see evidence that this Bielsa ball is going to work in the Premier League. They're going to create chances, they're going to score goals, and they're going to get points and survive. That's what we need to see the evidence of. But this is a very, very, very hard ask. The hardest ask you could possibly have. Sheffield United, 14th. So that's Monday night, isn't it? The Blades went brilliantly last year. My maths is not very good. 9-4. Does that make Wolves favourites in this one? I can't do the maths there. 9-4, double that up. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So the bookie's not very high on Sheffield United in this one. New players in for Chris Wilder and the Blades. Ramsdale, now Henderson's going to go and fight for a place at Man United. Max Lowe, Jayden Bogle I'm excited about. Can Jayden Bogle challenge George Bulldog and be one of those wonderful wing-backs there? Fotheringham, well, he'll be a reserve keeper there, won't he? Ampadu, can he challenge the fabled back three of Egan O'Connell and Basham? And then you'll have to forgive me, Ismaila Kubalali. Not familiar with the player, so if you're a Blades fan, help me out with him. Central midfield, where though you have Fleck and Norwood, who have just been brilliant for as long as I can remember now, and Sander Berger, who was a big signing as well. Oliver Burke's an interesting one, isn't he? I remember him at Forest breaking through and genuinely thinking he looked the same build and type of player as Gareth Bale. You know, a really pacey, really skillful, but really physically imposing fella. Hasn't quite worked out that way. Where did he go? Leipzig, and then West Brom, just not been able to get in the team. That was the Blades team in the last friendly. Again, look, Ramsdale will come in. Egan and O'Connell will come in. I am genuinely interested in the Bogle versus Bulldog fight. I really, really like Bogle. Ender Stevens has got the other one stitched up. And then you'd imagine it will be Norwood and Fleck and Berger. Maybe Lundstrom gets in over him. But I just think, having invested that money and with Berger now settled, that they're going to use him. Up front, McBurney, Mousset, McGoldrick, is he fit? I'm not sure. Sharp, McBurney and Mousset, are we thinking? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Look, Blades fans get prickly about the second season syndrome thing. It is a thing. It is a thing. You know, you're up now, you're stabilised, the expectations are up, you've settled. Every bit of evidence from Chris Wilder's career says he'll be absolutely fine and they'll finish somewhere between, 8th place and 13th place or something. And they'll continue to grow as a club and build the profile. But there is that nagging doubt of, let's say about populations, that consistent growth can only ever be followed by a crash. It's the same in business and nature and things like that. So in the end, they've got to stop improving at some point, because if they keep improving, then they're 8th place and then they're heading towards the top 6 in the Premier League. So Maybe, hey, who knows? Who knows? But will there be some traction now and just middle of the table? We'll see. They go against Wolves that had a really long season last year. Doherty's gone, hasn't he, out to Tottenham. Traore, fantastic. Moutinho, Jimenez, and Bolly and Neves we had in the Championship, didn't we? Along with Cody, actually, as well. So some big names. Obviously, Nuno's a very good manager. A difficult start, let's just say. But I would be most confident of a Blades win at all of these fixtures thus far. But would they be happy with not losing? Let me know what you think if you are a Blades fan. Watching here is West Brom's first game against Brendan Rodgers' Leicester, who finished very high up last season. And the Foxes are favourite to win this one. Difficult recruitment, I think, for West Brom because Dean Garner and Pereira, well, and we've spoken about this, and it's fine. It's the way teams are getting out of the Championship now. You loan players and then you sign them when you go up. So Dean Garner and Pereira, that just makes them as good as they were last season because those two were both superb in the Championship last season. Kipre, is he an upgrade on Higazi or Ajayi? Possibly. We'll find out. Burton, well, that's a reserve goalkeeper. Callum Robinson have done the deal there. Did he make that much of an impact? Bilic liked to rotate and use different players in the three off the front, but the big guys are still Dean Garner and Pereira with Phillips and Grzycki. Did they do the deal for Kravinovic? Is he in? Let me know, Baggies fans, because he was used as well in that position. Most recent friendly there, Charlie Austin up top. Who else are the other choices? Zahor and Hal Robson-Kanu. That position needs upgrading, doesn't it? Need a striker in at West Brom. I know there's been a lot of links. Will anything be done before their first game? We will find out. In terms of Leicester, yeah, great stuff. They've now established themselves as a, top 6 Premier League team, let alone top 8. Obviously, they had that, I guess you'd call that freak, incredible season of winning the Premier League, but that was an outlier, and now they are establishing themselves regularly in the top. Obviously, Maddison and Vardy are really, excellent. Vardy's now a Premier League great, isn't he? And Maddison's a top Premier League player, an England player. Soinchu, yeah, and Didi, Telemans, Evans. Very, very good team. I don't think the West Brom recruitment's finished, so I'm afraid to favour possibly Leicester in this one. I think we'll see the best of West Brom when the recruitment's done after October, and it may be a bit of a slow start. But good luck to them. We're behind all of the dearly departed here on the channel. That concludes our first review. I'll sit back a bit further. People were complaining they couldn't read the graphics. So, in fact, why don't I just shuffle my chair back? Please get your comments in on any of that. Remember, I'm focused on the Championship. I don't support any of these teams. So, I need your insight as well as being just that 1 degree removed now from these teams, although we are going to be studying heavily during the year on these dearly departed shows. So please like the video, get the thumbs up. There we go, we get 2 in there. Get your comments in, let me know what team you think's going to play. And if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't really been watching last season, particularly for Blades and Villa fans, because I haven't been commenting on your teams, then come back. Welcome back. You have got less than a day to join up with our Fantasy League and get in there. T5QBR0 is the code. And I did the first preview video on that yesterday on the channel. You can, if you don't want to look at me, I can't believe you wouldn't want to look at me, but you can listen to all these shows on podcast. Please help me out over on Amazon, amazon.co.uk/shop/ the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel, where if you buy any of those products, I get a little bit of help. And Patreon. Patreon's going really, really well. I think we've got like 64, 65 people subscribed now. So I am now planning to upgrade the Patreon, and we're going to start doing some in conversation shows that are going to be exclusively there for the $5 tier as well. So let me know if you are interested in that. For $3, you're essentially just supporting, and you get your name in the description and interactions there, but the exclusive content comes on those tiers. And sponsor the channel. You can sponsor a series. You can be a fan sponsor or a business sponsor. A fan sponsor, it's up for grabs on Dearly Departed. Sponsor this series. Get your shout out there. And if you do run a small business, you can help me out if you've got any marketing budget. That was, guys, Dearly Departed episode number 3. A start of a long and exciting season for our 5 Dearly Departed teams. Get your comments in. Let me know who you think is going to be playing this weekend, how you think it's going to go, and more long term, how are the seasons going to pan out. Thank you for watching. Over and out. See you on the next episode of Dearly Departed, which will be reviewing this weekend's games. See you soon.